Welcome back, Heroclix fans. Today I'm going to unbox the Avengers 6-figure starter set, which features Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Incredible Hulk, and Thor. Now these figures are all going to be from the movie, and they all have had their individual movies, as we have seen Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, which we saw Hawkeye in, and Incredible Hulk. The package for this looks really good, and it coincides with the graphics for the Avengers. We have Iron Man and Captain America on the front. Here on the side we have Black Widow and Incredible Hulk. And then on this side we have Hawkeye and Thor. Here in the back we just have more art and graphics from the Avengers. 10th anniversary of Heroclix. Looks very nice, and here's the sculpts digitally. And then down here below is the contents. We have 6 figures, 6 cards, 6 object tokens, 1 powers and abilities card, rulebook, 2 full color maps, and 2 dice. Also, I want to note that there will be a code inside here to use this starter set on Heroclix Online. Now that I unbox it, the first thing I want to take a look at are the maps. This is one side, and it is the indoor helicarrier shield, and it looks really awesome. A lot of hindering terrain, some walls here, different elevations, as you can see from like hallways down below. So it looks really interesting. I know you're not going to be able to, get too good of an understanding in this video, but I just wanted to give you guys a sneak peek at what the map looks like. And here's the other side. It's Stark Towers, and it is an outdoor map. Has like a special ability with if you're in the orange, which is here's orange here, there's some orange down here. As it reads, it sounds like if you can't fly and you end your turn in that area, you get an action token and you have to be moved to the nearest square that's not an orange. So that's kind of interesting. I think that's how it works, but outdoors looks like it's going to be pretty open with some hindering terrain, but not a ton. Before we get into the figures, I just want to go into the other contents that you get. You get this rule book. You get some light and heavy objects. This is what the back looks like. You have barrier, smoke, and special terrain markers here, so that's really good. And we get another powers and abilities card. Now this and this, both the rulebook and the powers and ability card, looks like they're the same. So if you're new, you're definitely going to need these, but if you already have these, I don't think anything has changed since the last one. But yeah, definitely pick these up if you need them, because some good information in here. And for our dice lovers, these are the 2 dice, and I use these types of dice all the time, so I'm happy for this. So now that we have the Avengers out of the packaging, I just want to go over the sculpts, the character cards, and some special powers, and and the points, and just give an overall review of the figures. And as you guys know, they all have different names than the actual names. So we have the Sharpshooting Avenger, which is Hawkeye. Then we have the First Avenger, which is Captain America. The Mighty Avenger, which is Thor. The Covert Avenger, which is Black Widow. The Armored Avenger, which is Iron Man, and the Incredible Avenger, which is Hulk. Let's go over the keywords for each one of the characters and their points and team abilities. Now, all of these figures have the Avengers team ability besides Hawkeye. He has the Shield team ability as well as the Avengers. So we have Hawkeye here. He has the Avengers keywords and Shield, and he's 75 points. Captain America is 100 points, and he is Avengers and Soldier. Thor is Asgardian, Avengers, Deity, and Warrior, and he's 140 points. We have Black Widow, Avengers, Shield, and Spy, and she's 75 points. Iron Man is Armor, Avengers, and Scientist for a whopping 200 points. And then we have Incredible Hulk, and he is Avengers and Brute at 150. So we're going to go right into the dials and just talk a little bit about if these figures are good or bad, or whatever you want to talk about here. So we're going to cover the Incredible Hulk right now. He has 150 points. He is Indom. He starts off with Impervious at 17, and he has a special damage ability. Incredible Hulk can use Leap, Climb, and Quake. He ignores hindering terrain and outdoors blocking terrains for movement while using charge. So he's got a bunch of different things he can do here. Now, it doesn't say that he can move and then use Quake. It just says he can use Leap Climb and Quake. Now, if there's a different wording on that, meaning that he can use the Leap Climb and then Quake afterwards, that's awesome, but the way I read it, it just is another power where he has charge and he can use Leap Climb and he has Quake and he has Super Strength. Very interesting there. And he ignores hindering terrain and outdoor blocking for movement purposes while using charge. So that is also good because he has charge here. The only thing I do not like about this is 17 is kind of low. With a heavy object, you're doing 6 damage. 10 attack isn't the greatest, but in Dom, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. Second click, Impervious 16. Now we go up to an 18 involved on 30. 17, 4. I'm just going to go number 5, 4, 6. 7th click, starting to really fall off now. Get back in vulnerability. Impervious, but our 8 attack is not going to do very well. And then we're KO'd on the 10th click. Overall, this is not a bad Incredible Hulk figure. It's definitely not the best, but it's not bad. Some of his stats are kind of low, but with Indom, he can, be able to push without taking damage, and his output for damage is not that bad. Charge, Super Strength, and Impervious, those are good. It's just his his stats are just a little bit low. But for 150 points, was he Indom? I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I don't know if he's going to be the greatest thing, but I mean, he will definitely help you. Don't think he's not going to get hit, because he probably will get hit. So Psychic Blast is going to hurt him bad. So we're going to cover Iron Man really quick here. His special on attack is Pulse Wave. When he does, after the actions resolve, opposing characters with armor or robot that took damage from this attack are given an action token. It's called EMP Burst, so that's kind of, makes a lot of sense that it'd be Pulse Wave, and if it's robot or armor, that you get an extra click as well. And that's Run-In Shot and Pulse Wave with 18 invulnerability and Indom. I like that quite a bit. The 18 is pretty nice. I would have liked to have like 11 attack at least for a 200 point figure, but with Indom it's nice, and we have a special damage, and let's see how good that is. The Armored Avenger can use Perplex, only target himself. So guess what? You have Perplex. Now you can Perplex it up to an 11, you can Perplex your damage up to a 4, or you can Perplex your defense up to a 19. You know what? I think this is good. But we're going to see more of the dial and see if he drops off really hard. As you see here in the second click, all we really lose is 1 movement and 1 stat on defense. Now we have Impervious and Range Combat Expert. Those are great. The only thing bad is you have a 9 attack. Dropping a little bit. Now we have a random regeneration click in the middle of your dial. This is not going to help for your defense, and if you happen to get on this and your opponent is able to attack you, you're gonna get hit really hard. But if it happens to land on the beginning of your turn, guess what? You can get right back up to your first click, or close to it, I believe here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you can get back to your first click. That's really good. If you get knocked past that, you have Run-In Shot and Psychic Blast with your Self-Perplex. Very good. I mean, I don't think this is bad. For 200 points, it is kind of high, but his defense stats are not terrible. And then you get another click of regeneration. The key for this figure is to not land on regeneration when your opponent can attack you again. Say, like, if he attacks you with 1 character, hits you on regeneration, and then he hits you again, you're going to go down really fast. But if it happens to land on regeneration with his last attack that turn, and you have at least 1 token, so you can give yourself a regeneration, because he has Indom. So if you have 1 token, you can give yourself a 2nd token and regenerate up. Or if you have no tokens, you're even better. So I think that's really good, but also you have to look at regeneration is not a given, because if you roll 2 or a 1, you still get 0. So if you roll, you have to roll at least a 3 to get 1 health back. You're probably going to want to Perplex up your defense to a 19, depending on the situation, but I think it's not bad at all. So here we have Black Widow. She has a pretty interesting dial, and her trait is leap climb. So you have leap climb and stealth. So you're gonna be able to get in and out of stealth without having to worry about hindering terrain. And you have a special on your attack. So if you do a ranged combat attack on someone, after the action's resolved, counter that character's defense until your next turn. So if you attack first with this character and you do damage, their defense power is countered. Now this is awesome. Now I want to say this is probably not effective on power cosmic characters. I could be wrong, but anyone other than a power cosmic character, you are pretty good. This should work. You have willpower. You do not have Indom, but you have willpower. You're only doing 2 damage, so you're going to need to hit somebody with an invulnerability or impervious. But toughness, you can still punch one through. But if you get a click of perplex, you can get the 3 damage. I don't know if we have any other perplexes in this starter set other than the Iron Man self-perplex, which would not work with her. But let's continue with this dial here. If you push off of that willpower and you take a click, you have combat reflexes, which will give you a bonus from close combat attacks, so it would be an 18. Now we have charge, and that looks like exploit weakness. Not bad. Again. Now we got flurry. Like this figure, not too bad at all. Now our stats jump up to a 10 with blades, and we're KO'd at 7. This is not a bad figure at all. I think she will be a nice addition. 75 points, but she starts off with stealthy figure, and if you can somehow use that ability where you can counter defenses, that can be tremendous. The sculpt looks alright, not the greatest, but it's definitely Thor for sure. It's 140 points, charge, energy explosion, 17, impervious, and 4 damage, 8 range. This figure has a couple things it can do off the top of its dial. It can range for 11 attack doing 4 damage, or it can charge doing 11 for 4. And you have impervious. For 140 points, you do get a little bit out of this, but not a ton. I would have liked to have seen super strength here, because that would give you an incentive to charge. And for energy explosion with only 1 target, and you're already doing 4 damage, I think that's kind of a waste for me. If you're doing 4 damage, I don't know. Energy explosion, you're going to want to hit a lot of people with that. 17 is not a high defense, but it's impervious, so not terrible. Here we have more stats for close combat with the close combat expert. Invulnerability. Defense goes down to 16, but everything else looks like it stays the same. Attack drops to a 9. Now we have a special on damage. Now he has willpower. So the Mighty Avengers carries willpower here. Now willpower is very nice power, but at this point on your dial, you have toughness, 9 attack, and 16 defense. You know, you can do some stuff there, but your opponent has a pretty good opportunity to knock you off this click. Now your defense goes up, so this is looking a little better for you. Now you have willpower now you have force blast. So if you choose to knock people away, I mean, depending on the situation, it can be nice. And there we have on the 8th click and 9 clicks. And we are on our last click. We're only doing 2 damage here, and then we're KO'd on the 10th. The one thing I do want to say that is not that bad, this figure is 140 points and it has 10 clicks. On the 10th click, it's KO'd. It has a pretty long dial, so he's not going to just go down really fast. So, I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's definitely not that bad. The defense is kind of low, but for 140 points, you might be surprised how he plays because he has kind of a long dial. So we're going to cover the first Avenger, which is Captain America. Now, this guy has an awesome trait here. At the beginning of your turn, if the first Avenger does not have a shield token on this card, place a shield token on it. So, at the beginning of your turn, if you do not have a shield token on your character, you put a token on him. While the first Avenger has a shield token on the card, he possesses energy shield deflection. Okay, that's really good. So you get +2 from range attacks and can make ranged combat attacks as if he has a range of 6 with 2 targets. That's not bad at all because he has 0 range and no targets. So if you have the shield on your card, you have a bunch of bonuses here. And when the first Avenger makes a ranged to combat attack, remove the shield. So once you use your range, then you lose the shield. So there's different ways of playing that, because say it's your turn, you get a shield. You have energy shield deflection, and now you can do range. Now there's a benefit of not making a ranged attack, because then you can keep energy shield deflection. But if you decide that you want to use your 6 range and shoot somebody, well, now on your opponent's turn, you do not have energy shield deflection. So it's give and take there, but I like that power quite a bit, because you have options, and you continually get it at the beginning of your turn. You can use it one turn and then get it back the next turn, but if you use it on your turn, you lose energy shield deflection, which is an ability to prevent damage from range, but it doesn't reduce any damage. And I do want to cover his defense special. It's combat reflexes and toughness. So if he has the shield, he has combat reflexes and he has energy shield deflection, meaning he's always going to be at an 18 defense if you have the shield. And he has toughness. Another thing I want to cover, he has Indom, so you can push him. And leadership. This is not a bad figure at all. I like it. I'm going to go quickly through this. So you have combat reflexes, again here with toughness. Definitely a close combat figure. Exploit weaknesses, 7th click, and KO'd at the 8th. The final figure here is the Sharpshooting Avenger, which is Hawkeye. He has a special. When making a ranged combat attack, the Sharpshooter Avenger may choose to modify his attack by -1, but he can attack 3 different targets. So that's really good if you have perplexes. I know in this starter set you don't, but for the most part, the 3 targets is really nice, because you will have 3 damage. You can give each character 1 damage, but you will have to go down to a 9 attack. Let's cover the rest of this dial here. I like the run and shot with Sharpshooter, Willpower. I like this 8 range in cap. I mean, there's a lot of options here. And you have the shield, so if you give him a token, so he has the shield team ability, which is also nice and helps boost up your adjacent friendly characters on their damage. We'll quickly go through this dial. And the 4th click, I like that, Range Combat Expert. Here on the 5th click, we have Willpower and Range Combat Expert, and we're KO'd on the 6th click. So I hope you guys enjoyed my unboxing of the Avengers starter set. I think it's actually a pretty good starter set. You get a lot of nice characters. No one's overly overpowered, but there are a couple figures like Iron Man, Captain America, that are actually pretty good figures, I think, if you play them correctly. Hulk isn't bad. Thor is not that bad either. Actually, I mean, all of them are actually playable figures. I like Iron Man. He is kind of expensive, but the certain things that he can do with the Pulse Wave and Self-Perplex, I think are nice. And the Captain America is a really nasty figure up close, because he's going to be 18 if you keep the shield. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more Heroclix videos. Take it easy, guys.